What's up, y'all? You're watching Brooklyn Shuffleboard, and we are out here on a Wednesday evening at the Royal Palms Brooklyn in Gowanus, New York. We got a really exciting match for y'all. This is the finals of our 4th monthly tournament. It's a 16-person single elimination bracket that we ran over the course of May and June, if I'm not mistaken. We got Roger from Ting, Tang, Walla, Bing Bang taking his warm-up shots on yellow, and Ben Cole from Kitchensurfing on black. I know both these players really well. I've been playing against them for, about 9 years or so. They are definitely two of the best players we have in our league, and I'm looking forward to a really fun match. If you're new to the channel, I'm Jeff. I've been filming these singles league matches, a little bit of our league matches, kind of as a tool to help newer players learn shuffleboard strategy. I'm going to walk you through what's going through my head as these players play. You'll kind of learn everything from how to account for drift, shot selection, when to maybe be more risky, less risky, basically everything going through the head of someone that's been playing for 9 years like me. And then also to capture some of this singles league action we got going on. We have some of the best shuffleboard players in the world here in Brooklyn, and it's really fun to watch these singles league matches play out. All right, so the format for this thing, it's one 16-frame game. They're taking 4 warm-up shots at the head, 4 warm-up shots at the foot. They'll play 8 frames, switch color, do 2 sets of 4 warm-up shots again, and then play frames 9 through 16 on the opposite color they're on now. And whoever's ahead at the end of 16 wins it. There's no 75-point limit, just 16-frame games, and whoever is ahead at the end wins it all. And there is a cash prize on this thing. A lot of our tournaments have entry fees, so there's definitely a crisp hundo on the line for this match. Yeah, it's going to be a good one. So this is Court 3. Court 3 we've had featured on a couple other matches, a couple other episodes. Court 3 is definitely a weird one. There are little patches of drift where the court maybe slopes a little left, a little right. Some of the courts, like 8 and 9 in the building, pretty much the whole court slopes in one direction. Here, there are all these different pockets that make it really hard to figure out what exactly the disc is going to do. And when I say drift, what I'm talking about is that it's impossible to pour a fully flat slab of concrete. So you have all these different imperfections in the concrete where there are little hills, little valleys, maybe they're sloping left, sloping right. So yeah, basically what you're trying to do in your warm-up shots is figure out what the landscape of the court is. And then as you're playing throughout the 16 frames, you're just continuing to do that. You know what I mean? Like, you're trying to figure out, where do I need to aim to score an 8? Where do I need to aim to replace my opponent's disc and have mine stay in its place? Do I have to aim 2 inches to the left of where I want to go? Do I have to aim 6 inches to the left of where I want it to go? You're just constantly trying to figure that out through the match and kind of create this mental map of the court drift as you play. And warm-up shots, you get four shots to try to figure it out before you start off. All right, so they're about to start off. Frame 1 of 16 right now. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm really excited for this one. All right, so Roger's starting off with a St. Pete, but that is not a good St. Pete. It's kind of closer to a Tampa, and Ben has to decide whether he is going to try to take advantage and hide down the outside. If Ben puts a disc on that 7 on the yellow on the right, that will be perfectly hidden, which it looks like he does. And, oh, that's close. That's close. Yeah. No, you got to let him check. You can be a third shot. Yeah, so that disc, if that's a scoring disc, Roger's going to have a tough time getting to it. All right, it's not in, not in. So anything on the line is not in. And the way you check is you're supposed to look down the edge of the disc 90 degrees if it's close to see if you see court or if you just see the line and the biscuit hovering over the line. But that was like a perfect example of why you have to be careful of your Roger. That first disc needed to be kind of where that one is in terms of the left-right placement. You want it to be a perfect St. Pete halfway between the tip of the 10 and the side of the court. He missed left in the prior one, and Ben almost had an opportunity to hide down the alley. All right, so Roger's going first, which means it's Ben Hammer in frame 1. Ben really has to think about how he wants to play this out. Ooh, nice clear. So typically when you have the hammer, you're going to do one of several things. You're either going to try to keep the whole board clear and score your disc to try to get that guaranteed 8. Oh, that's pretty good. He could go down the alley, but I don't think he's going to. You could keep it clear, score your hammer. You could go on the board, hope your opponent messes up. Go on the board and hope that you're better at kitchening your opponent. Those are kind of like the 3 avenues. You could clear one of the blocks out and try to have yours move to a better position. But in general, when the score's tied, most of the players here, they're like, keep the board clear and score the hammer. Once the game gets interesting, you start going down a little bit, maybe then you shift strategy. As Ben goes down the alley, overshoots it, it goes through the back of the house. So, and the reason why you keep the board clear and score your hammer is because Roger now has an opportunity to block the left side of the board, and then Ben's hammer shot is incredibly, incredibly difficult. Just like he had to go down the alley, he might have to go again down the alley. Ooh, as Roger misses the 10. But as mentioned, Ben, the area he could score on is much, much smaller now because of those 3 yellow discs in the way. But he still has some space on the 8 on the left or the 7 on the left. He's going for it, and it comes up short. So Ben wastes his hammer trying to chase discs down the alley. Maybe just kind of, I don't know. There's something to be said about going for riskier stuff down in the beginning of the game because it's kind of like you could think of it as having extra practice shots, really. You're still trying to learn the court, the speed of the discs. You only get 4 shots to do in the beginning. The other thing is maybe trying to get an advantage early and hang on to that lead. But for the most part, going down the alley like he was doing, not maybe the best shot. Or the best strategy, I mean. All right, so Ben goes on the board there. It looked like he was probably going for a Tampa and overshot it, and Roger cleared it perfectly. So this is probably the strongest part of Roger's game, having played him for many years now, is he is a clearing machine. He is just so consistent at the clears. And as a result, you're not really getting a lot of hide opportunities. As Ben puts up, that time, a perfect Tampa. If you're trying to shoot a Tampa when you don't have the hammer, that is 100% the placement you want. Roger can't hide behind it. Ben could theoretically, if Roger wasn't able to clear it, score an 8 and it would be perfectly blocked up. And Ben now switching to St. Pete. That is also a really good St. Pete. Maybe wants it like a foot, a little bit stronger, maybe a foot deeper, but that left-right is perfect. Roger sticks the clear. And this is what we're talking about when we say, when you think about strategy when you don't have the hammer. You put up Tampa to St. Pete's, you hope your opponent can't clear it, and then you have a hide opportunity, which Ben has right now. This is my favorite part of Shuffleboard, is hiding discs. That looks pretty good. I think he gets the 8, but you can see that disc kind of curved to the right a little bit as it settled. That's in. But Roger could see it. You could look down this line. Roger can't hit the yellow disc, but he definitely has a straight line right at it. He just can't miss to the left or right. And ooh, that's close. That looks good. Nice shot. I like how hard he shot it. He saw that Ben's last one kind of curved right a little bit, and he, as a result, put a little extra muscle on it, trying to cut through that drift. The harder you shoot it, the less the disc curves left or right due to the slope of the court. So after 2 frames, Roger's up 8-0. But I like that frame from Ben. He just needed that disc to be 3 inches to the left, and that would have been really well hidden. Just that curve to the right, kind of unexpected. You kind of think that it's going to curve towards the columns, but it curved away. And frankly, I don't expect Ben to get a ton of those opportunities, so being able to hide when you do get those chances is going to be really important for him. Another good St. Pete. Those are, again, really perfect placement. Maybe wanted to be a foot or 2 a little deeper. And Roger unable to clear it. It rolls to the right, and it ends up being in a Tampa position. And Ben, without the hammer here, you know he's going for this. He needs that disc to be right on that number 8 on the right side. Looks pretty good. Gets it. That is nasty, nasty hide from Ben. So yeah, that's great. So Roger can't get to that black disc because the yellow one's in the way, and that's really what Shuffleboard's all about. So Roger, I like that move of clearing the yellow, forcing Ben to block it up, and get it right, which sometimes is not easy to do, you know. But assuming Ben blocks this up, Roger's going to have his hammer stolen here. Ben overshoots it, gets into a 10. He didn't look like his face made it seem like that's not what he was going for, but still, it's going to make Roger have a really hard hammer here. He has to clear and replace that black disc in the 10. Kind of hope that it smashes into the other black one, and hope that his disc stays in the 10, his yellow disc. This is a really hard shot, especially on a court like this. All right, he's lining it up. Shoots it nice and hard, and he gets it perfectly. Wow, I am really impressed. That was a nasty, nasty hammer. That is amazing. Man, Ben went from just blocking up that 8, forcing Roger to score on the left, stealing his hammer. He overshoots the block. Kind of gets a little lucky with the 10, but it ends up hurting him because of Roger's amazing, amazing hammer shot. As they are searching for the 4th yellow disc, which made its way to the court next to us. All right, so we're going to frame 4 now. It's 18-0, yellow's up. Man, this has been a good one. That shot Roger made was not an easy shot. And Roger, that is a perfect St. Pete. I love that. That's right where you want it. You know, Ben could go down the alley and hide a 7, but, like, that's such a hard shot. There's a lot more working for Roger than Ben on that one. Ooh, interesting. So Ben clears it, but rolls his to the left. And it ends up in a spot where kind of both of them could hide behind it. Roger can go down the alley, and Ben could go cross court and hide an 8. So this is one that I kind of call like a 50-50. It's like both players can hide behind it and score a disc that is hidden for the other person. Roger's thinking about it. Returns to the 1 spot. And, ooh, interesting. It looked like he was trying to clear it and maybe glance it. Glance it and to the right. I'm not really sure what he was going for there. Maybe just blocking up the cross court. Either way, he puts it on the center line. And now Ben, you know, he has an opportunity to knock that yellow out. He has an opportunity to kitchen that yellow and get back in this game. Or just knock it out and keep his in an 8 on the left. Oh, goes for the kitchen. Almost gets it. That speed was just about perfect. Just missed and made contact a half inch to the left of where he needed to. But, yeah, I mean, that cross-court hide is still there for Ben. And as mentioned, it's still there for Roger, too. Roger, I think, up 18. You know, I don't think you really want Ben to kitchen you or Ben to have an opportunity to hide a disc and then score his hammer later on. So I think if you're Roger, you're like, just play the safe thing and clear that blackout. That's what I would do, knowing the score. Instead, he puts one in the center of the court and gives Ben like a pretty sweet hide opportunity down the right side now. You know what I mean? Like, at some point, there's an element of protecting your lead. Roger's not up a lot, but he's up enough where you maybe want to protect that lead a little bit more with your shot selection. Ben goes down the alley and misses, and now Roger has a choice. Hide that Tampa, hide behind that Tampa on the left, that yellow disc, or block up the right side and give Ben a really hard hammer. This is a hard call. Block the right side, Ben has to go cross court and make his hammer. But there's a hide opportunity for Roger down the left. And he's shifting to the conservative shot. Ooh, gets the high 8. That's in. I don't know if he was trying to block it up or go for the high 8. That is the nicest shot in Shuffleboard when it's not your hammer, your last shot. Stick a high 8. Because Ben now, this is like almost an impossible shot for Ben. He has to kitchen it or hit the left edge of it and roll his to the left, which is so hard. So he's going to go for the kitchen, I'm sure. Looks pretty good. Oh, he comes up. Comes up a little short. Man, really good try from Ben, though. Hit that angle was perfect. Just a teensy bit short. And just like that, Roger, after 4, has a pretty commanding 18-0 lead. Man, that is 2 hammers in a row that Roger pretty much stole from Ben. The first one, just doing a really good job blocking up the court, making Ben have a hard hammer down the left side. And that one, with the more aggressive high 8, you know, getting it perfectly. And it is 18-0 after 4. All right, Roger keeping it going with a nice St. Pete. If Roger can steal another hammer here, he's in really good shape with 2 hammers in a row the following 2 frames. And Ben, really sweet, you know, clear the St. Pete, rolling it over to a Tampa. That was one of the different options I talked about earlier. Making Roger think a little bit. All right, he's lining it up. I don't know what he's going for here. Yeah, he goes to basically try to roll it back to a St. Pete. Ends up clearing it. Maybe the smart shot, though, just knowing that Tampa was doing a lot more for Ben than Roger. All right, Ben going on the board. Throwing it on that 8-8 line. Possibly playing a little kitchen bait here. Maybe trying to score 2 discs on the hammer, put Roger in the kitchen and catch up. Make up those 18 points this frame. Ooh, interesting. Roger almost punishes them. Yeah, misses the kitchen. Yeah, Ben's coming down to remove that black disc. As soon as it passes the baseline, it gets removed because you don't want another disc. It's considered a dead disc as soon as it passes the baseline, and you don't want another disc to hit it and kind of like stack up on it. Usually we have someone on the other end helping out, but I'm talking to y'all instead of helping them on the court, so I'm not available to assist. All right, so Ben, another kitchen opportunity here. This is what he wanted. He went on the board, wanted those kitchen attempts. Looks pretty good. Oh, man. Just a tiny bit short again. Yeah, just a tiny bit short. Every single attempt he's had has been just a hair short. But he's taken the time to hone in on it. It's only a matter of time, Ben being such a strong player. Oh, man. So Roger here probably just trying to clear that black out, say, I'll give you an open court hammer. You know, if you want to try to kitchen me all the way that deep one, you can. That's what I would do. I'd probably just blast the black one, trying to clear my own disc out, and just be resigned to Ben getting 8 or 10 points. Oh, he's playing the kitchen game again. Oh, and he gets him. Wow. That was a really nice shot from Roger. So Ben's a little screwed here. It's going to be another frame with a hammer stolen. He's going to have to probably get that yellow one, try to kitchen that, and score. And he really needs this, being down 18 already. Looks pretty good. Gets it, baby. Let's go. Nice hammy shot. He absolutely needed that. That is 3 scoring discs. So we have -10 for yellow, -2 for black. I'm going to do a little math here. That was a crucial hammer. You know, he had a couple tries at kitchens throughout this game, finally honing it in, and that he has to feel good about that. I mean, after all that, he only really gained 8 points on his hammer, which he would have done if he kept it clear and scored his hammer, but he was really trying to take that opportunity to score 2 and claw back in this game. You know, he probably is feeling really good right now, though. Even though he's still losing by 10, that's kind of like a momentum shifter. Even though he only scored 8 on his hammer, like, just that feeling of successfully kitchening someone, like, you're feeling good about that. All right, so Ben starts off this frame with a Tampa. Roger going for a clear, nice clear. So Roger up 10. He has 2 hammers left before they change color, and Ben only has 1. So Roger is kind of up more than 10 if you think about it from that perspective. He has that extra hammer, the extra advantage. And he's just going to be trying to keep it clear. All right, can't clear it, but it ends up in a really good spot for him where it's a Tampa he could potentially hide behind. And now Ben has a tough call. It's probably blocked to the left of that, or it's try to kitchen it. And he's going with block to the left of it, and it sails left. Yeah, there's something weird in that part of the court. A lot of the league players know it's really hard over there because sometimes it curves to the right and sometimes it curves to the left. It's kind of like this bubble or a little like mound on the court where depending on where your disc goes, it's either going left or it's going right. It also makes hiding pretty hard too because you're kind of like going uphill a little bit, and then once you get over that hill, it starts coming down again. so it's really hard to get the speed right. But Roger with the hammy is definitely going for this, trying to put this game to bed, and he does not get it. Yeah, see, it kind of curved left there. Speed was definitely good, though, but curved left. And Ben, not really a lot of great options, not really a lot of great aggressive options. It's block the left side and make Roger make a hammer down the right side, but the right side's wide open. Block the right side, make Roger make a hammer exactly where he just shot. You can maybe try to sneak a 10 behind that yellow disc, or you could try to kitchen the yellow. And instead he's going, oh, I love it. Is that what he's going for? Oh, a slap? Oh, man. He said that slap, but that's pretty nasty. That was a skill shot, I guess. Yeah, that kind of steals the hammer. I mean, Roger has a really hard one. His two options are knock the yellow into the black, and they're pretty close together, so it's makeable. And he might have his stay in its place, or just take the open court, hammer down the right side. Let's see what he does. Going down the right side. Oh, it leaves him in. That was not my preferred. He was just trying to clear the right edge of it, which he got to, but he didn't really hit it hard enough. I don't really love that. I kind of like just make the open court, hammer down the right side as an option, but Ben is feeling good. Like I talked about a momentum shift last frame. That is a 8-point hammer steal for Ben. He scored 8 on Roger's hammer. And it's a 2-point game. Roger's up 2, and they each have the same number of hammers left. So Ben is officially caught up. He's only down 2. And Roger sticks it. Oh, man. It is so hard to clear at the Royal Palms here. You know, for people in Florida watching, you guys put beads on the courts, and it feels like you're playing on an air hockey table or ice or whatever. Like, it just glides and glides. You clear hard, it's going to be clear. Here, you got to muscle it and be accurate, and it's just so hard to do. All right, pretty good shot from Ben. He gets the 8, but Roger can see pretty much the whole disc. Not an easy shot necessarily, but definitely makeable. And he, just gets enough of it. So that St. Pete, that yellow disc up front, or the one that's in the St. Pete placement, that's a little bit higher than you want. And the deeper it is, the higher it is, the easier it is for your opponent to like shoot around it. Oh, let's go. Oh, sticks the line, goes for the bump and sticks it. I love that shot selection though. Going back to what I was saying, so you kind of want that St. Pete to be at the distance of the tip of the 10. And that's sort of the sweet spot where you can place a good 8 and have it be really hidden. When it's high like that, it's really hard. You got to get it perfect. Ooh, oh no! Roger with a terrible mistake. He knocks Ben into the 7 and leaves himself there. And man, you got to think Ben's just going to block up here and try to lock in that score. Oh, he blocks it up with a high 8. Oh, man. That was just like the other one where he just needed to block it up, and he overshot it and ended up scoring. But this one, instead of being a 10, was a high 8. So this is going to be hard for Roger, man. He can't even kitchen that. He needs to, like, slam it and hope that something happens. He needs to knock the black one into the yellow, knock the yellow into that black 7, and do like a 2-disc combo. That's probably the shot. With power. Doesn't shoot it with power. And doesn't get anything. He knocked the black one out, but he couldn't score his own. That's only one, right? Yeah, that's only one. So a second consecutive hammer steal for Ben, scoring the 7 on Roger's hammer. Oh, man, this game has turned around. It went from Roger stealing hammer after hammer to Ben scoring on Roger's hammer 2 frames in a row. And as we go into the 8th frame of 16, Ben's up 5, if my math holds, and he has this extra hammer in this frame. So he keeps it clear, scores the hammer. It's 5 plus 7 or 5 plus 8. You know, he has a double-digit lead going into the turn. Went from being down 18 to up 5 with an extra hammer. Oh, and Ben can't clear it. Oh, man, they are really struggling with the clears on this court. I mean, that disc is kind of pretty far to the right, so Roger's going to have to score like a 7, a high 7, for it to be perfectly hidden, which is not an easy shot. You know, when you're hiding, you kind of want to be able to aim for an 8. He could aim for the corner of that 8, but probably a little bit past the right corner of that 8 in a 7 is where he wants it. Really smart from Roger, looking at the court from Ben's side, trying to identify an aiming point on the court that is perfectly blocked up. Roger's waiting for the people on court 4 to finish hanging out in the alley. Yeah, see, Roger's got, I mean, a lot of players, it's distracting, you know what I mean? Like, you gotta wait, I get it. For me, I kind of shoot when people are in the alley. I like to pretend like it doesn't bother me, but if we're being real, it probably bothers me a little bit. Not really bothers me, but like influences the shot, you know? I try to be like, oh, it's not gonna mess with me. I've been doing this for 9 years. But it definitely messes with you. Anyway, Roger with the shot. That is nasty. All right, he gets it into 7, a deep 7. He's happy with it. He probably wanted that to be, let's call it, 2 inches to the right, though, because Ben can go down, shoot past the left side of that black disc, and clip the edge of the yellow, but it's not an easy shot. Yeah, shoots it with power and clips the black, which honestly, not the end of the world because it frees up his ability to shoot for that yellow on the next one. So Roger's plan here, block it up, try to make it so Ben can't get to that yellow, and he's unable to do so. It curved left on him. You could see that disc curve to the left as it was traveling down the court. And that was, honestly, that was a really, really bad error because Ben has a straight line to that yellow, and if he sticks it, it's going to be hidden. Oh, no, Ben can't get it. Oh, that's rough. That was a huge opportunity for Ben. Yeah, Ben could have cleared and replaced that yellow in the 7, and it would have been totally blocked up. So Roger has a choice. It's do something fancy or block up that yellow 7. I think with the game tight like this, for me, I'm probably just going to try to block it up that 7 and let him make his hammer shot and just call this a win for stealing the hammer. And instead he shoots it deep, gets the 8. So definitely not an easy hammer for Ben, but he could do what Roger did in frame 1 and score an 8 and clear both those yellows out. Definitely not an easy shot, but it's makeable. Shoots it nice and hard. And he misses the 8, I think. I think that kitchen, I think that 7's in. They're going to walk down and look at it. I love this anticipation. So that one is, oh, is that in? Oh, man, he's really looking at it. They might need a third call here. How many is that? Oh, man, they got to tell me here. Now he's clearing it. All right. Yeah, we're gonna like. Oh, they're taking a little break. They're taking a little break. That means I'm taking a little break. I'm gonna go check that score, and we'll rejoin you guys in a moment. All right, we're back. Frame 9 of 16. May-June singles tournament, monthly single elimination finals. We got Ben Cole on yellow, Roger on black. Yeah, this has been a wild one. All right, I just got a handle on the score here. So yeah, they didn't really communicate the number of scoring discs. That 8th frame was it was -3 for yellow. There was the 7 in the kitchen in, and the black 8 was on the line, so no score for black. So, and ended 5 yellow, 13 black. Now they're switching colors. So Ben's starting off on yellow with 13, and Roger's starting off on black with 5. So Roger down 8 after 8 frames. So yeah, they're working on the warm-up shots. You know, I kind of want to do a video just on like warm-up shots and the best way of doing them. Everyone has their own personal preference. You know, as mentioned earlier, in the front half, you're kind of trying to get a feel for the speed the yellow disc and the black disc sometimes are different speeds. Even within a set of discs, sometimes discs are different speeds. So as you're shooting, you're really trying to pay attention to that. But you're also trying to learn the drift of the court. So when I'm taking my warm-up shots, I'm trying to learn the drift of the court on very specific shots. I love hiding behind St. Pete's. So I usually take 1, if not 2, shots hiding behind a St. Pete. Shooting like a cross-court 8 or a 7, starting on the outside. Really want to make sure that if I do get an opportunity to hide, I feel pretty comfortable about it. I usually take 1 opportunity hiding behind a Tampa, which Roger was just going for. You want to make sure that if your opponent isn't able to clear and you need to steal a hammer, you can get that Tampa hide, and the disc doesn't curve left or right unexpected on you, like what just happened on Roger's first practice shot, and what happened on Ben's shot when he was playing black in the last frame, where he had a chance to go down the alley and a curve left and he clipped Roger's block. So those are like probably the biggest ones, and then I usually like to shoot down the middle. People here at the Palms really like to shoot a 10 on their last shot before your hammer, because the courts are so drifty. It's like really hard to clear and replace. So I like to make sure I know what speed, how far left or right I need to aim to clear and replace the 10. Most other places, like you play in like Florida tournaments or national tournaments or international, usually there's 8 or 10 warm-up shots. For those, if you have the extra warm-up shots, for those who've gone down and played in the Mirror Lake Championship, I usually like to spend a couple of those where my partner or the people on the other end of the court set up 8s or set up 7s, and you take a stab at clearing and replacing them, so that you can really figure out how much over from the center of the disc you need to aim to account for the drift, but also sort of like be able to visualize what you need to do to get that clear and replace. Those two, just because beaded courts are a huge adjustment for us, I like to really finish off with scoring an 8 on a hammer. So I leave the warm-up shot having that muscle memory of what an 8 feels like. And that's sort of a window into how I like to do warm-up shots here and at the Palms. I might do warm-up shot video. Want to try to expand the channel a little bit and do a little bit more like tutorials, like how to adjust for drift, what a good hide looks like, that kind of thing. But really trying to help all you newer players catch up to the 9 years of experience that Ben has, and I think like 8 years of experience I think that Roger has, maybe 7. I don't think he was playing the first season, but he's been playing for a long time. All right, so we got frame 9 of 16. As mentioned, Ben's up right now, and that he's starting off with like throwing up St. Pete's like he's been doing. That one's a little deep, but Roger's clearing it out, doing a nice job. All right, Ben with another St. Pete. So it's interesting, on black, when he was playing on black, he was undershooting the St. Pete's a little bit. They were ending up kind of like closer to the lag line. And now on yellow, he's shooting them a little too deep. But still good St. Pete's. All right, so Ben's last shot before Roger's hammer. The big question here is, what do you do with this disc? You want to go into a match with a game plan. I'm kind of curious what Ben's game plan is. All right, looks like he's going down the left side. Looks like he's going for a high 8, which we saw earlier in the first half. Really, really hard to score your hammer on a high 8. That's not a high 8, though. That went a little too deep, and I believe Roger can hit that straight on, stick an 8 in its place. And the risk of going for that high 8 as your last shot is that if Roger wants to play the kitchen game, he could have an 18-point hammer here. If he kitchens that and replaces it, that's an 18-point shot. Looks like he's shooting a little harder than kitchen speed. Yeah, a little harder than kitchen speed. Misses the 8. And, yeah, that shot from Ben worked. It was good enough. They just switched color, and it's not easy on this court to clear and replace discs. So successfully steals the hammer. And we're still at 13 yellow, 5 black. Yeah, that what do you do with your last disc before your opponent's hammer? That going for the high 8 or the high 10, people love that. In the early days, we would just sort of block up the board. But now we're trying to be a little bit more aggressive going for that high 8, because it's just so hard to score on when you score off of it on your hammer. Like, you have to kitchen it perfectly. If you go for a kitchen, you might come up short and leave him in points. You might try to roll it like Roger kind of did, and like really, really hard shot. Used to be we just like block the tip of the 10, which is another good strategy, especially if you're playing against, someone that's been in the league for less time. Just like blocking up at the tip of the 10 is sometimes enough. Make the opponent shoot down the alley. The speeds in the alley is like a little bit different than the speed down the center of the court. So it's like, sometimes the conservative shot, you're not going to get kitchen. It's definitely a good idea. It's like you can kind of go either way depending on what the score is. All right, so Ben can't clear it, and Roger has a chance to go down the alley here. He needs it right on that number 8, and it curves left on him. Man, he took that as a warm-up shot and saw it curve left on him, and he was unable to adjust. That's really rough. That's what I'm saying. Like, you got to pay so much attention to those warm-up shots because he basically went for that exact shot at warm-ups, and it curved left on him, and he clipped the blocker, and it just happened again. And for Ben, I mean, I'm not sure what he's going for right now because he has the same Pete opportunity on the right. He's clearing his own out, thinking that he doesn't want Roger hiding behind it. And with the lead, that's called protecting the lead, You're up 8, you scored this hammer, you're up 16 or 15. And Roger going for the high 8 and gets it. Wow, these players are playing pretty well. Oh, man, someone on court 1's walking on the court. Hate that. All right, Ben's hammer. Going. And Roger steals Ben's hammer with that high 8. Man, trading hammer steals. And the score remains 13-5. Yeah, that left side is so hard to clear into place on. I mentioned in the first half that sort of like hill that's right in front of the left 8 scoring area. Like, you never know if the disc is going to curve left or curve right. And as a result, it's like, how do you know where you have to aim? Like, you kind of just have to aim at the center of the disc and shoot it really hard and try to cut through that drift. Yeah, it's really, really hard to clear and replace on that left side. If you're playing on court 3 and you're black, try to go for a high 8 on the left, and you'll see it's really hard for your opponent to get it. I wonder if Roger knew that because he could have made a high 8 on the right, and he went for the high 8 on the left. So I wonder if that was something that he had in the back of his mind, knowing this court from playing on yellow for 8 frames in the beginning. All right, so Roger's on the board now. Is Ben's hammer. Ben's up 8, and he clears it. I was kind of curious if he was going to go for the kitchen there, but like, he's a smart player. He knows he's up 8. He's still just going to try to keep it clear and score the hammer and go up double digits. All right, Roger kind of looks like maybe going on the board, maybe practicing that high 8. I think that's probably what that was. Thinking Ben's just going to clear it anyway. Why don't I practice the high 8? Maybe I'll be more likely to get it on the next shot. Ben goes for the clear, misses the clear. And I bet Roger is wishing that he had put up a St. Pete, because he can't really hide behind that. That disc is so deep, he would have to score a 7 all the way, like a deep 7, to be able to get around that yellow. So I think he's either going to block up the right or he's going to try to kitchen that. Let's see. Yeah, he's trying to kitchen it. I don't actually know what he was doing, but looked like he was trying to kitchen it just from the speed. Leaves Ben with a wide open hammer. Frame 11. Get this hammer, you're up double digits. Looks pretty good. Looks good, and he gets the 7. That might be the first frame where we had just an open board 7 on a hammer. You know what I mean? All of these frames have been really, really hard hammers or miss hammers, and Ben's the first one just to like execute a clear and score hammer strategy. So it's 20 yellow, 5 black. 15-point lead for Ben, but Roger has 3 hammers left and Ben only has 2. So that 15 lead, if Roger scores here, is really just a 1-score game. Not time to panic yet for Roger. All right, so Ben putting up the same Pete. Roger with a nice clear. Clearing's definitely better this back half than it was in the first half. Yeah, I mean, this is an interesting thing for Roger, right? You're down 15. There's 5 frames, including this one left. The big thing when you're trying to choose what shot to make is really thinking about the score, right? Because depending on what you do, there's like a range of outcomes, right? And like the more discs are on the board, the more you could either gain points or lose points. So if you just keep it clear and score your hammer, the end of the frame, it's going to be just like a 1-score frame. Ooh, as Ben goes for a 10 there. So for Roger, it's really when do you decide to go aggressive? Like, is he going to go for a kitchen here? He's down 15. He probably should. Overshoots it and ends up with the 10. Yeah, so for you on your hammer frame, you got to decide, like, am I content to just keep it clear and score my hammer, get those 8 or 7 points, or increase the likelihood of those 8 or 7 points? As Ben with a hard shot gets the 10, and that is a high 10. So really nice shot by Ben. Didn't really need the kitchen, just needed that disc to be really high in the scoring area so that Roger can't hit it straight on and keep the 10, which I think that's probably high enough. It's probably close to the tip enough where he can't hit it straight on and score, so he's going to have to try to kitchen it. All right, he lets it go. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Oh, a little bit too hard. Really nice thinking from Ben. Like, I don't need to kitchen him. If I just clear and replace and keep my 10 there, it's going to be a really hard hammer for Roger. And now there are 4 frames left, and Ben's up 15. So this is what I started talking about last frame, is like, for Roger, when do you start shifting the strategy on your hammer frames, right? Clearing the board and scoring the hammer will get him 8 points. He's down 15 right now. He has 2 hammers left, but he can't really guarantee that he's gonna be able to score, and he's not gonna be able to guarantee that he's gonna stop Ben. So at some point, you have to shift the strategy and say, all right, maybe I need a frame where I'm gonna get 2 scores. So he's still going for clears, but that's kind of like the mental calculus that everyone's doing. It's like, do I start going on the board and trying to kitchen him because I need to catch up? I'm running out of time. That's one school of thought. If you watch the Paul Assad match, you know, like, Paul's going on the board. You know, he's trying to catch up. For me, I really like kind of doing what Roger just did, where it's like, keep the board clear, score the hammer, and try to grind your way back in this. You bring this out to a 1-score game, and then it kind of puts the pressure on your opponent, and then you play super aggressive, trying to kitchen them on their hammers. Try to bait them into a kitchen game. But like I said, Roger, you know, he cleared the first one. Now he goes on the board. He's doing the calculus, thinking, I need 2 scores at some point. Why not now? And Ben, really smart play, clearing it out. Really does not want Roger to have the opportunity to kitchen him and get back in this thing. Roger going on the board again. That one, I think it's good. It's kind of hard to see. They're coming down here. Yeah, I think it's good. So Ben probably just trying to blast it out like he just did and limit the range of outcomes for this frame just to 8 or 7 points for Roger. All right, does not get the clear. And now Roger has an opportunity to kitchen this and score an 8. This is also like it's kind of a tough call where it's like a much higher percentage shot is just score on the open board down the left. But with time running out a little bit, only 4 frames, you might want to go for this kitchen. You need the left-right aim to be perfect, and you need the speed perfect to kitchen them. But like more so, if you miss the left-right aim, you're not going to score either. Huge shot for Roger. Looks pretty good. Gets the left-right, and he gets the kitchen. Wow. Nasty, nasty hammer shot from Roger. Oh, man. Yeah, I think that's the right move. I mean, it worked out for him, so it's obviously the right move. But in that sample size of 1. But, like, he's looking at the scoreboard. He knows that scoring an open court hammer on the left is a higher percentage shot. But he knows that if he doesn't do something quick, he's going to run out of time, and it's going to be game over. And Roger, with that one shot, retakes the lead. 10 yellow, 13 black. Still anyone's game, though. Roger's up 3, but Ben has 2 hammers in a row. He has the hammer in this frame. He has the hammer in the next frame. If he just keeps it clear and scores the hammer, you know, that's going to put him up double digits in the going into the last frame. Yeah, there's something that happens in your head though when you get kitchen like that. You're like, oh man, I gotta pull some heroics to make up for it. But you gotta realize you're still kind of in the driver's seat. If you score on this frame, if you're Ben, there'll be 2 frames left, each person with 1 hammer, and you'll be in the lead by 5 or 4. All right, so Ben doesn't clear the first one, but he got it clear enough where Roger is not going to try to go for a hide in that corner 7. So Roger's trying to put up another block, make it so that when he does, trying to give himself a better hide opportunity, which he doesn't get. Really nice clear from Ben there. Really breaking that board wide open. Man, this is a wild game. All right, so Roger going for a Tampa. So that's a pretty nice Tampa. I like that. There's a lot more space on the board on the right side that Roger can see that's blocked up for Ben, and then vice versa. All right, Ben tried to clear it, and he sticks it. Oh, man. So Roger could block the left side, give Ben a really hard hammer, or he can go down the right, which I would do 100%, hide this Tampa. You really got to think about, though, he missed his last Tampa hide to the left, and he clipped the block. So if he doesn't adjust, I'm going to be like real disappointed. You need to go around that yellow. Aim about a foot to the right of where you want the disc to go. And he clips it. Oh, man. Oh, that's so rough. Yeah, you need to aim like a foot to the right, maybe even more than that, of where you want the disc to go, so you can get around that yellow. And instead, from having a chance to really claw back and steal a hammer, the board's wide open for Ben's hammer. And Ben coasts that disc into the 7, and going up 17 to 13, up 4. Man, that was a high-pressure hammer from Ben. A little bit deeper than he wanted, but deep 7 and a normal 7 is same thing, 7 points. So this is 2 frames left. Anyone's game. Ben's up 4. This has been a wild one. All right, so Roger, he needs to steal the hammer here. You know what I mean? If he gets a high opportunity, he needs to make it. And he starts off with the Tampa. Perfect Tampa placement. That's like textbook right there. Because if Ben scores a 7, it's 24 to 13 going to last frame, and Roger has to score 2 on his hammer, which is really hard. Ben with a nice clear. So Roger wants to go into this last frame only down 4, so he could just score the hammer. Oh, shit. So that disc, he was going for a St. Pete and a curve to the right. And this is kind of an interesting one. Ben could hide behind that if he wanted to, but he's not going for it. Yeah, he's keeping it clear. That's really interesting. He had a really good hide opportunity, but he knows if he can keep it clear and score this, he's going into the last frame up 2 scores. As Roger puts the 10 up, I think that's on the line. They're not coming down to look at it, which I'm surprised about. I guess they could see that it's on the line. I think Ben's probably just going to blast it. Yeah, blast it. Oh, leaves it in there. Oh, man. This is going to be a huge shot. So it's on the line. It doesn't matter. Roger's going for the kitchen here. And he needs this. You know what I mean? Like, if he doesn't kitchen this, then Ben has a chance to score a hammer and go up double digits. He needs this kitchen. He got a kitchen last time he was playing at the head 2 frames ago. He has it in him. Let's see it, baby. Oh, man. All right, lines it up. Looks pretty good. Maybe a teeny bit soft. Looks good. Does not get it. Oh, just the 10. Oh, so close. All right, but still, really hard hammer for Ben. You know, you got to clear and replace this 10. Roger was able to do it in frame 1, but not an easy shot. He misses it. Oh, man. Yeah, it's really hard to clear and replace the 10 on this court. I saw Roger, when he did it, start more from the outside. He started kind of where the F in the OFF in the kitchen area is. I wonder if he knew something about that line that was a little bit more consistent. Got to ask him after the game. But Ben really, really wanting that hammer. He's only up 4, and it's Roger's hammer in the final frame. Roger down 4 with the hammer in the last frame. You love to see it, man. You love to see a match that comes down to the last frame. All right, all Ben needs to do is hope that Roger sticks a clear and then he can get a hide. Or he can play the kitchen game and try to out-kitchen Roger. Oh, ooh. Roger doesn't clear it, but it's kind of a 50-50 that both of them could hide behind. This is so interesting. So if you're Ben, do you go for it? Because you need to hide a disc. You know what I mean? It doesn't look like he's going to go for it. I think he figures that left side's kind of unpredictable. Oh, man. I don't know, though. I kind of want to go for it if I'm him. I might have gone for that. And instead he's going on the board. All right, he's playing that kitchen game. I also don't really love that, because Roger can hit the left side of that yellow and roll his disc to the left, and it'll be into an 8, and it'll be hidden. I think that's what I'm going for if I'm Roger. Oh, and he whiffs it. No! He whiffed it to the left. Oh, my God. I cannot believe it. Oh, man. I am stunned. He's been playing so well, and he whiffs it to the left. All right, this is Ben's move. Block this disc up. He needs this to be really well. Oh, no, he overshoots it. And he clips it on the line. Oh, my God, this is a wild, wild finish. He overshot that by like 3 feet, maybe probably even 4 feet. Yeah, he wanted that to be like tip of the 10 distance, just covering the 8. And instead he overshoots it, knocks himself on the line. And Roger, I don't know what Roger does. Do you just blast it? Or do you try to keep your disc in? And oh man, this is a wild one. Shoots from the outside, clears it really nicely. All right. So if you're Ben, you're up 4. You block the right side and you make Roger have a really hard hammer, or you go for a high 8, hope you get it, and hope he has a really hard hammer that way, or you go down the left side and hide a disc. It looks like or you maybe try to kitchen that black 8 on the right. If I am Ben, I am taking advantage of that black disc on the left, and I'm trying to hide down the alley. That's what I'm doing. But all the options that I listed are fine options. And he goes for the high 8. He does not get the high 8. It's a deep 8. That's not what he wants, because there's like a little pocket there between the yellow and the black disc, where if Roger just gets it in that little pocket, like that space between the 2 discs, it's going to stay. You know what I mean? But it's on the right side, and Roger's had some trouble, with the whiff earlier this frame, trying to get at that disc. And when he was going down the alley, he was having some trouble too, with it both discs curving left. So this is not an easy one, but this is to win the game. You score, Roger scores, and he wins the game. Get that yellow out and score, and it's game over, and he is the champion of this tournament. Shoots it pretty good. A little soft, maybe? He misses it! He misses it! And Ben is the May-June monthly champion. Doing a little money, baby. Came down to the last shot. Roger almost kitchens him. Almost rolls it to the left. There were a lot of ways that could have worked well for him, and he just could not get it done on this super difficult Court 3. Man, that was a fun one. It's been a while since we had a match come down the last shot, and that was dope. So Ben Cole of Kitchensurfing is your May-June monthly singles champion. Good sportsmanship. Roger said nice going. That was great. All right, thanks for watching, all y'all. I hope you found this entertaining and educational from a shuffleboard strategy perspective. Yeah, we got a lot of episodes lined up. We're going to switch to a 2-camera setup at some point. This is going to be the year of shuffleboard content, baby. So get ready for it. Thanks so much. I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace out.